Welcome to the Appetite for Discussion show with your host, Brendan Crouch.
Hey, thanks, Julius. Appreciate it. Hey, Mr. Jerry Oxsher. Yes, correct?
Yes.
From Puriti Labs.
Yes.
We are here today to learn about hemp, and you are the man to tell us.
Oh, all right. I'm honored. Thanks a lot for having me.
Hey, man, you're very, very welcome. I'm honored to have you on the show. What you guys are doing in the hemp industry is really growing. It's a booming industry, right?
Yes.
And so for those of the listeners, what I would like for you to do is I would like for you to just explain who you are, explain what Puriti Labs is by Dove Medical, and hemp, because I think there's a lot of misconceptions about hemp.
Absolutely. And that's really one of our core missions is to get the correct information out there, get the knowledge out to the public, because we're currently an unregulated industry. So the onus is on the consumer, really, to verify, to do due diligence on the products, and to know what they're getting is, A, what they say it is, and B, safe. You know, and I think that's something that's overlooked. You know, you get so accustomed to going to the store and buying a supplement or, buying a food product because you know that built-in safety's there, right? Not quite there yet with the hemp industry.
Well, even with the supplement industry, they're not regulated. So if you're taking over the counter, whatever, creatine or some sort of branched chain amino acid or natural testosterone booster, I mean, you could literally be taking ground up goat nuts that someone put in a capsule and just slapped a label on it.
Yeah. So it's the same situation,
right?
And it's still being debated whether or not to even allow hemp and CBD products to be classified as a supplement.
Really?
So yeah, everything's. I hate to use the term up in the air, right? But there's still a lot of legwork to be done as far as the legislation goes.
So if it's not classified as a supplement, would they classify it as a prescription drug? Would that be the next? They would regulate it more.
Really?
I'm not going to hold you to anything.
Yeah, because in a week's time it's going to be different. Things are moving pretty rapidly, especially at the state level. A lot of the states are taking action where Washington is, and creating these programs. Because this most recent boom really started with the 2014 Farm Bill that Congress passed. That basically opened it up to states to say you can create and basically self-police an industrial hemp pilot program. And several states, at this point now, 40, I think we're up to 44, maybe 43 or 44, have some form of industrial hemp program. So here in North Carolina, we have the Industrial Hemp Commission. So the North Carolina Industrial Hemp Commission. They're the board that oversees the state pilot program. Okay. And so that's who we're registered with. If you want to grow it, you're a farmer, that's who you need to register with in order to do it legally.
Okay. And can you explain to myself and our audience why has hemp been so taboo? What's the problem?
Great question. When you find the answer, please let me know.
Well, I mean, it's a derivative, or it's a marijuana plant? It comes from the marijuana plant, or
right. So hemp and marijuana are more legal terms than they are scientific.
Okay.
It all classifies as cannabis. My wife loves to use the analogy talking about tomato. I say tomato. What do you envision?
A big red juicy tomato.
Right, but there's also cherry tomatoes, Roma tomatoes.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
But they're all still tomatoes. Right. All of this is still cannabis. Right, but depending on how much THC that plant produces, which is the psychoactive component. That's what makes marijuana.
The wacky weed.
Right, and so cannabis can produce, different from different varieties can produce greatly different amounts of THC. Some very high, some very low, and many in the middle. Right, so the government said 0.3% content THC.
0.3.
And drew a line. And for better or worse, this kind of created hemp. Right, and so when we're saying hemp, is this pot or is this hemp? Right. That you're talking about that 0.3% bear.
I wonder how they came up with that number.
Great. I don't know. It
seems just like an arbitrary number.
Yeah.
0.4. Nope. It's illegal. 0.3. Legal.
Honestly, it's odd, but I don't really have a problem with it.
Okay.
as a processor.
Mm-hmm.
If I were a farmer, I'd probably be singing you a different story. You know, it probably needs to be a little bit higher just to open up the portfolio that a farmer can plant. You know, as far as what variety works for
what
them.
makes it more potent for THC? Does it the longer it grows? Do you have to cut it in infancy to keep it at that 0.3? Like they know, like, hey, if we grow the crop and it gets to maybe a height or a certain thickness of the stalk, or it's grown for 6 months, that's the right time to harvest, because we know that if it continues, it's gonna get too strong.
Yes, I wish I would have brought a biologist.
Well, but you do have a background in chemistry, right?
But what you're saying, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm a chemist.
Yeah, you're a smart dude.
Yeah, well, I know chemistry,
which is important.
Yeah, I struggle in many areas, but
me and you both, man.
Yeah, it's mainly produced both the CBD, all of the cannabinoids. So far, they've identified well over 100.
Oh wow,
20-ish. Right. It's just that THC and CBD are the most dominant.
Okay.
They're highest expressed in the varieties that we're cultivating currently. Right. I'm sure that can be manipulated, but then we're talking genetics and I'll see you later. Right. But it should be possible.
Okay.
Right? But there's many others that are in much smaller amount that science is just starting to scratch the surface and looking at these, and many of them are very preliminary, right? But they're showing therapeutic effects, helping with sleep and things like that. A lot more work needs to be done, in clinical trials and actual, big, not case studies, but big studies. And but we just kind of have to sit and wait for that to happen. It's happening more now than it ever has, so that's promising.
I think people are. Let me ask you this. I think people are being more open and more accepting to CBD oil. But do you think the fact that, I don't want to say the market's become oversaturated, but when you can go buy flowers at the local flower shop and then go rent a movie and then go to the tanning bed and you can get CBD oil while getting your tires rotated, is it kind of, I don't want to say it's not watering it down, but it's almost like oversaturated.
It gives the appearance.
It cheapens it.
It gives
in
it
a way.
Appearance of a fad.
There you go. That's a better way to put it.
It looks like a fad,
right?
And I think certain aspects of it are.
Okay.
When you see CBD hummus, like, how sustainable is this? It's right. Is this? It makes me second guess. Like, wait, what am I doing again? This is what I'm a part of. But it's the therapeutic benefits that the plant has shown throughout human history. But then you marry that with the fact that 0.3% and lower are not going to give you any psychoactive effects.
Right.
I think we're starting to find a sweet spot with cannabis as a society, where it's like, look, we can really harness what this plant has to offer without it being a talking pony show.
Sure.
Something that's counterculture, or and it's, I think really people are really starting to open their eyes to it and take it seriously. Usually with the trend, I mean, that's in the CBD oil. It's you're starting to see it everywhere, but you've seen it for a few years now. Usually by this time, a fad is, I mean, how long do fidget spinners last?
Man, I don't know, but I wish I'd have created that sucker.
Right. Yeah.
This podcast would be huge. That's right. Yeah. Fidget spinners.
Yeah.
So 0.3 and below, you can take legally. You can ingest it. Is that correct?
Yes.
Would I, if I took that, would I test positive for marijuana in my system?
As a business owner, I'm going to say yes.
Okay.
It's better to say yes than no.
It's better to say yes. Right.
It's still a little inconclusive.
Okay. There's
many different types of testing.
Right.
Your metabolism's different than mine.
Right.
So my body may process, it's.
So I wouldn't get, and I think this is important for people to know, because there are people out there who are suffering from, like, say, some chronic pain disorder or whatnot.
Absolutely.
And they're afraid to take it because they're afraid they may test positive for marijuana and lose their job.
Rightfully so.
And right, so I think it's important for people who are taking it, number one, thinking, well, a CBD, I'm not going to test positive. You may. And for the people who are like, oh my gosh, I'm scared to test positive because I might, you may.
Right.
So yeah, I guess it's one of those things where you really have to be careful.
Right. It gets right back to your original question. Like, you have to know what you're putting in your body.
Right.
It's you have to find somewhere you can trust. And that's what we're trying to do, is trying to be a place you can trust. Because that's the first two questions when somebody comes in. Are you drug tested? are you taking any other medication?
Sure.
When if somebody comes in, and they're like, look, I'm otherwise healthy, but I banged my knee up in a motorcycle wreck 10 years ago, and it's just never been the same.
Right.
That's a different conversation than someone that comes in our store with, fibromyalgia.
Sure.
Those are two completely different scenarios.
Absolutely.
So I mean, self-employed versus,
Sure.
government employee. Those are different conversations.
And fibromyalgia is a tricky one, because that's
Yes.
That's kind of a blanket statement. We've tested you, you've tested negative for everything else. We have no idea, fibromyalgia. That's what we're going to give you. So then they throw all these sorts of narcotics and pain clinics and inflammation of everything everywhere. Right.
Yeah.
I mean, if CBD oil could help that, and they're not getting the what was the phrase you called again? Not psychoactive effect, getting high from it, then that's great, and especially if it's cutting down with seizures. And they're saying
that's where it all started.
With child seizures, right?
Yeah, and with and what the parents went through to just get their hands on it,
right?
I mean those stories of those mothers are unreal, and it's, you hear it and you're like, I'm skeptical.
Yeah, sure.
As a chemist, I'm supposed to be skeptical.
That's right.
I'm always supposed to do my due diligence and not just blindly trust. And so it's like, you hear about it stopping seizures. Let me look on YouTube. And then you watch one and you're like, you get a 2-year-old to fake it.
Right. Sure.
I'm like, this child's in a crib.
Yeah.
Or you see a dog, that's not even severe, but just tremoring.
Right.
And they apply a spray to it and it calms down.
Yeah.
I've never seen a boxer that you could train how to do that.
No, I'm not getting in there with it. That's for sure. Somebody else can do that.
Yeah. So I mean, it's, at least that's how my experience was. Just, I mean, the evidence started piling up. Even though it's all anecdotal at this point.
Yeah.
There's not many scientific, publications relative to the other things. These things are studied and studied and studied. And tested and tested. Watch a commercial for a pharmaceutical, you can see all the side effects. These are studied. I mean, it's no small task to get a drug on the market.
Right.
So that's what a lot of people see. Oh, they're trying to shoehorn this in the side door.
Sure.
And you could understand how certain people with certain interests would want to stop that.
Right.
But it's a plant.
And it grows
naturally.
It grows naturally. Is that right?
Yeah.
But assume I know nothing about pot, because I don't. Okay. I really don't know anything. Okay. I know people smoked it in high school and in college. They got high, but as far as other things with marijuana, weed, I don't really know. So
I know it's illegal.
and I know I'll lose my job. Outside of that,
right,
pretty much not messing with it.
Right.
So what led you, and your wife is a chemist as well,
yes,
and you guys developed Purity Labs, is that right?
With a partner. Yeah.
With a partner.
Yeah.
We'll get into that in a minute. But so, how did you guys meet?
We met at Columbia, South Carolina, at the University of South Carolina.
Okay, so you guys went to college together.
At grad school.
Grad school.
Yeah, so she actually did a semester abroad. She's from Germany.
Oh.
And so she did a semester abroad, and we ended up working together a little south of here. I mean, honestly, the rest is history.
And the rest is history. Good for you.
We've been together, we joke, it feels like 30 years. I remember one of our first anniversaries.
But it's been a glorious 30 years.
I was going to try that joke on
her.
I'm like, I was like, it feels like 10. I know, right?
And you're like, ooh.
I'm like, okay, we're meant to be together.
We're meant to be together.
We've got the same.
Good thing you didn't say 30. That one flopped.
Yeah.
So, and you're a chemist, she's a chemist, so you guys are wicked smart. Yeah.
Our friends would disagree.
So what led, when did you guys become interested in hemp industry?
It's something that's honestly, it's always intrigued me. When I say always, I mean in the training and studying to be a chemist and kind of looking at the market and looking, and you learn more about, most people, they become a chemist because they want to help people.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, it's a pure science. You're like, look, we can get a job with a drug company, and
right.
And then you wake up one morning, the curtain's pulled back, you're a brick in the wall,
sure,
just pulling a lever, pushing the button, and don't go in that door. And it's, who am I helping?
Right.
Maybe eventually somewhere down the line somebody's getting helped, but
maybe
how do you feel that,
Sure.
And just I remember the first week that we were open, the people coming in, and my wife and I had that conversation a lot. It was, I can't believe I never thought I'd have this feeling.
Yeah.
When somebody comes back in and you help me or you help my dog.
Sure.
It's and not you cured me, but I went from a 8 on the pain scale to a 3. I can do the dishes.
Well, they get their quality of life back.
Exactly.
Because they're able to focus on something other than being uncomfortable.
Exactly.
What landed you guys in Troutman?
Troutman. Yeah, we after school, we joined the workforce, and we actually both work from home. She is as a sales rep for a glass company that makes laboratory glassware for chemistry labs, large scale.
Yeah.
And so like industrial scale, and she covers the whole Southeast.
Oh wow.
And so she's like, I just need to live an hour from an airport, a major airport.
Yeah.
And I got a job with an instrument manufacturer, doing service. So working from home, basically making, driving all around Western North Carolina. Luckily, I didn't have to go into RTP because that's a beast for a chemist over there. The Research Triangle,
right?
That's a serious area. I spent very little time there. Up into Virginia and East Tennessee, and so I had to live in the territory. We moved to Charlotte, lived there for 1 year.
Yeah,
one lease.
One lease.
We're like,
we did that.
What's next?
Yeah, get me out of here.
And I'm from a small town outside Nashville, Tennessee.
Okay.
And of course, my wife, she's from Germany. She's from a smaller village. She's from the countryside, in the south of Germany. And we looked at a map. We saw 77 and 40.
Yeah.
Meeting, and we're like, okay, this looks good. So we started looking in this area, just driving around. We're like, this is where we're gonna live. And we bought a place in Troutman. Going on 4 years. We're not going anywhere. We're not going anywhere.
Good, man. A permanent transplant.
Absolutely.
That's good.
Absolutely.
And then you became business owners.
Yeah. So hopefully it goes well. Hopefully we can keep it up. Everything's been great so far. The response we've gotten from people, the feedback we've gotten from people. I mean, just like you said, there's a stigma. Sometimes there's it's taboo. The first conversation with my parents that this is what we're going to do is a little awkward.
Oh, I bet so.
And same from my wife. Her telling her parents. I was like, hey, we're not going to come bail you out of jail. What do you think of me?
I tell you what, they think you're the new version of Walter White. That's what they think.
I guess. Yeah.
You're breaking bad in Troutman.
No, I can't grow a goatee.
I can't either. I hadn't shaved in 6 months.
Yeah.
So you landed in Troutman, and you guys decided, like, hey, we're gonna do this thing.
Yeah, it's we saw a hole. We saw a newly emerging market.
Mm-hmm.
That, like in Germany, they're very much more so embracing of like homeopathic, alternative plant-based treatments as it is.
Sure.
So that's my wife. That's how she was like okay with it. I guess you could say. But so many people had been doing this in the dark for so long.
Yeah.
With all cannabis being illegal, whether it be hemp or marijuana. There's many states that have the full shebang. So, but they had, they were doing it under the cover of darkness.
Right.
Now, new laws passed, times change. They can do it all out in the open. Don't have any training. Right. And it's like, oh, well, there's somebody. You like to think somebody's out there taking care of this.
Right.
And we're having a hard time finding them.
Where is that somebody?
But it's the same thing when when you're a chemist and you go to school, you go to graduate school, loans start piling up.
Sure.
And you look at an industry like this and you can see the promise, but is it worth the risk? Okay, do I put all my eggs in that basket?
Right.
And what if Congress, leans one way or the other, and no, I'll keep my industry job. Well, I think that's what we're seeing a lot. A lot of people starting to see more people pile in. You're starting, it comes across the news, big names and other company. Coca-Cola wants to do something. Well, of course, Coca-Cola.
Of course they do. Right.
Wouldn't expect anything less. But on the other hand, that they spend a lot more money doing market research than I do.
Right.
So if they see the investment, then to me it's trending in the right
In the right
direction.
direction.
You know, and maybe a lot of these what I would call fad type products. You know, it's I think they'll have their day in the sun, but I don't really see it as a long term.
Yeah.
You know, but I think there's definitely a pretty large core of products that you're already seeing on the market that I think, you know, legislation willing are here to stay.
But speaking of legislation and hemp being illegal in the first place, I mean, it's kind of bogus, right? Because it's more of a guy. The paper industry was what really put the kibosh on hemp, right?
Yeah.
Was it?
They were a major player. Yeah.
Was it William H.
Hunt.
Hunt? It was one of the paper guys because they found that you could make hemp paper that was lighter and more durable. And as a matter of fact, I want to say the word canvas derives from the word cannabis. So a lot of the old famous portraits are actually painted on hemp.
Mm-hmm. Something that honestly I didn't know. My wife pointed it out to me. During the Second World War, it was decriminalized.
I did not know that.
And she said they even produced one of the like propaganda films, "Hemp for Victory."
Hemp?
I still haven't seen it.
You got to find it.
I want to look it up and see it.
You know, it's interesting
but then
too.
We won the war.
And now it's
They
right.
needed the rope. They needed the cloth. And
well,
I guarantee
one of the
every
first
Navy ship we've got has hemp rope on it.
You're probably right.
Yeah.
You know, and Henry Ford, the first Model T Ford he made, the fenders were made out of hemp.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so and you can actually watch a video on YouTube of him taking a hammer or the back end of an axe and hitting the fender of the and it doesn't dent. And it's more durable and it's lighter than the metal that they use today. But all that, if I read right, all of this came from the paper industry. So they're like, wait a minute, this is going to really put a kink into our numbers and our margins. Yeah. So we've got to pass some sort of legislation. We got to get in the right ear to start talking. And then they kind of, hemp is marijuana. Marijuana is wacky weed, and that all. So it all got kind of lumped together, and that's exactly and that happened what 90 years ago in the 30s. Because I want to say there was
37, I think it was
something around
the
there.
Marijuana Tax Act.
Is that what it was? The Marijuana Tax Act?
Where they have, the way I understand it, it's they said, okay, you can grow it, but you got to have a stamp. And then they didn't give out any.
You used to even be able to years ago. They're making clothes out of it. I mean, they're doing that again.
Absolutely.
But then the cotton gin came around, and they said, okay, well, this is easier because I think stripping the hemp is difficult, or it's a lot because it's such a hard.
The mechanical processing, I don't know too much about.
Okay.
For actual like materials development, that's a little bit beyond me.
Gotcha.
I just know that like the stalks and the herd, I believe. I'm not exactly sure what that is.
Sounds right. We'll go with it. Stalks in the herd. I'm sold.
Yeah,
you're the chemist. I'm going with it.
Yeah, but that absolutely. I know they're even experimenting with using it as a reinforcing concrete. Even.
You know what? That is. Yeah, I've heard that too.
Yeah, they call it hempcrete. I believe somebody may have trademarked that name. I know I've come across it, but yeah, using it actually as a reinforced concrete, and it's like.
Isn't it crazy that this plant
it's like mold resistant, and it
does all this wild like bamboo.
Yeah,
bamboo is so strong, and it's I don't say bacteria resistant, but bamboo is very useful material.
Absolutely,
that people don't really realize, and it's not harmful to the environment either, from what I understand. Right. Unless they soak in some cancer-causing chemical. Sure the best not. That's how I soak in the tub and watch my Netflix. So you guys have been in business for how long?
Oh mercy. We just started the company. We're closing in on a year, just on coming to an agreement. So we're still in the.
You're still figuring it out too.
Yeah, we're still just trying to get things up and going. I think we've done a great job, but it's. You own your own business. Sometimes you're like, we've done so much. And then the other days you're like, oh, we've done nothing.
We've done nothing.
Yeah.
Yep.
So it's
people aren't walking in the door. The phone's not ringing.
Exactly. Yeah. It's a roller coaster. It's a roller coaster, but you just keep pushing.
So do you guys distribute throughout the state, or do you just?
That would be the plan.
Okay.
As far as like an actual like retail store.
Yeah.
And having our own product with our label, I think we're at 6 weeks.
Okay.
So I think we're just getting started.
So that's the next step.
Yeah. Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed.
If someone wanted to order CBD oil from you, could they do that online, or is that illegal?
It is not illegal.
It is not illegal.
No. It's just very difficult.
What do you mean?
Yeah, just like we were talking about Coca-Cola.
Yeah.
You know, you said a lot of times the big guys stand
Yep.
on the sidelines until it's safe to enter the water. Well, we're seeing that a lot with in our industry with insurance companies, banks. It's difficult.
Oh.
They're not willing, you know, credit card processors, not even just banks, but, you know, even just to get, like you said, order online.
Yeah.
That's what makes it difficult. You know, you call somebody up, hey, this is who we are, this is who we want to do, you know, calling different banks and, you know, and payment processors. Oh, yeah, we'll take care of you. And you get a call a week later. Oh, no, turns out you do hemp. We can't do CBD. We can't do CBD.
See, there's got to be a way around that, right? Because now you're a T-shirt company, so now you sell someone 15 T-shirts, and you send them the CBD oil.
I have no proof, but like I mean, I think
that would never happen.
But I do think, you know, just in my completely naive opinion, I think that's how a lot of them are online. You know, I think it's easier to have an account. Mm-hmm. You know,
I totally just bullshitted and made that up.
Well, I think you're exactly right. You know, you have an account, you have a website, you've already got the system set up, and you can just add it in.
Absolutely.
I think that's the way to go.
Now you sell envelopes.
Yeah, but to be honest with you, we were turned down by just about everybody. Hopefully, we don't have to scratch it.
You know, it's amazing.
A bank did come through.
Okay,
us.
good.
I don't know how comfortable they would be with me saying.
Yeah,
that.
it's fine. We won't.
You know, I could be wrong.
Yeah,
they may want to strangle me for not giving them the pub, but I'll play it safe. But a bank did come and say we will work.
You know, it's interesting that, you know, some of your more, like you said, insurance banks, credit card companies are pedaling back from it. You know, and I don't think hemp's killed anybody. But yet there's no problem with them, you know, with, you know, narcotic drugs being pumped into the system, into our kids, into our neighborhoods. I mean, you go to the pharmacy.
Well, that's subsidized, so.
Right.
Subsidy? So where's the subsidy line?
Exactly, yeah.
I'm kidding.
But, you know, obviously it's coming because you're seeing the pharmaceutical companies who are running out. You know, there's this Netflix documentary called Murder Mountain. I don't know if you've ever seen it.
I haven't.
Well, there's this place up in like Paradise, California, whatever it's called. I don't know. It's been around since the 70s. People were going up there. They were growing this like the perfect soil environment, you know, to grow marijuana. So it's isolated. It's hard to get to, and people were going up there young and working, going to live the dream, right? Mm-hmm. But then they were disappearing, and people were getting. Yeah, you should really watch it. It's going to freak you out.
Mercy. I'll have to watch that one alone. The wife can't watch that.
Yeah, but it's interesting because what's happened is now since marijuana is legal in California, you know, Murder Mountain was this mecca of, you know, marijuana growers, and they've been doing it for decades, and they know how to grow it, right. But now since they've taxed it, they've made it legal. They're taxing it so high, it's hard for the farmer, the true farmer who knows what they're doing, to be legit. Yeah. So there's so much regulation on it.
That's where the state-by-state variants can either help you or hurt you.
I can see where that would be maybe in the hemp world too, where the pharmaceutical companies and the big companies who can afford to push kind of the little guy out.
Yeah, I haven't really. Again, I'm sure somebody's going to watch this and think I'm just a moron, but
they're going to think I'm the moron.
In my perspective, honestly, everybody fears the pharmaceutical companies, but in regards to what you're talking about, it's more the state legislatures that are axing, you know, and making it exclusive. When you say, oh well, okay, yes, you must have, you know, if you want to process it, do what we do, right? You want to process it, okay, well, it's going to be, I don't know the numbers, $50,000 application fee. And then $75,000 a year, renewable every year. You know, when you start seeing terms and stuff like that, coming from the state,
and you're like, man, I hadn't even opened the door yet, and I'm already 125 in the hole.
It kind of dooms it from the start because that really only
that's
leaves the big
that's
fish.
their point.
Yeah,
they're doing that on purpose.
And luckily, we're not in a state like that.
Good.
Yeah, all we had to do was register.
Whoever you are, keep that up.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah. I mean, North Carolina has been there. And not just the, you know, bulk of the legislature, but even the companies and advocacy groups that are here have been very instrumental in steering it.
South Carolina is on board too, right?
I believe so.
Yeah, because there is a huge, I think, hemp plant
Yeah.
or factory or company that
Yeah.
just invested a ton of money. Is it in Columbia?
Ooh.
I think they're called Kawana Gold, maybe.
Mm-hmm. I'm not sure. I'm
I
not
could
sure
be wrong on
exactly
that,
where.
but I've
But there's
been
a few.
following them.
There's a few. I don't know the farmers so much, but I start to see some of the processors, and there's several in South Carolina, so they know what they're doing down
They
there.
know what they're
Yeah,
doing.
yeah. So
I should have a hemp farmer come on. Are they
Yeah.
local? What do you think?
Farmer?
You know a farmer? You think they'd come on and talk about it?
well, absolutely. I'm sure I could find you a farmer.
So, are there hemp farms in Iredell County, or do you have to go outside of the area here to
It's
resource?
again, it's every day's different.
Okay.
It's really moving at the speed of light. So honestly, as far as where every farm is located, I'm not up to speed.
I gotcha.
I do know that we work with the farmer in Guilford County.
In Guilford, okay.
Yeah,
All right.
and so everything we have is grown right there. So we're trying to do our best to keep it local. And
Mm-hmm.
again, it's always going to go back to the regulation.
Sure.
When nobody's forcing you to do due diligence on your source,
Right.
even as me as a processor. Oh well, yeah, I can save a few dollars if I order from this shady,
Right.
maybe foreign country.
Sure.
It comes from overseas. It's you don't even know how old it is, let alone the quality. It makes me uneasy.
So
when
how
I think
do
about it.
you guys, speaking of like the quality or the purity, or like how do you guys stand out from me going and getting my toenails done and then buying the CBD off the counter?
Just blindly buying
Right.
something?
So how do you guys stand out?
Right. So accountability, really. That's what it really boils down to. But the more nuts and bolts of it, everything we want to work exclusively if we can, and we've been lucky so far to work with North Carolina farmers.
Gotcha.
Right, and keep it local, keep it in the state. So when it comes to our beginning to end process, starts with the state. The state has to test the plant while it's in the field before it's harvested.
Okay.
And they're testing for that THC level, that 0.3%. It's either yes or no.
Gotcha.
You're either in the legal limit or it's going to be destroyed.
Okay.
Right. So, and that's where that I don't have a control over that.
Right.
That's on the farmer. That's when you start talking about certain size, like you were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
I know those are things,
Right.
But I don't know the exact ins and outs.
So
of how to
before-
actually grow it.
So before you receive your product from the farmer, it's already been tested by the state, so
For THC only.
Okay.
That's all they care about.
Right.
Is that legal limit of THC. It could be 20% lead. They don't care. They want to know 0.3% THC. Right, in the test results when they come back from the state, that's the
one thing, right?
Right. So that's what makes it legal.
Okay.
Right. Once it passed that test and it's harvested, dried, whatever it may be, that's what determines if it's legal or not. From that point, we take it in.
Yep.
We send it back off. Right. So we send it to a third-party lab out west. So we don't know them. They don't know us.
Okay.
They don't know us anything. We don't know them anything.
All
We
right.
send them a sample. We pay them. They send us the test results back.
So you actually get to test it twice?
Well, we want to see more.
Okay.
Right, the THC level is good. It lets us know that we can legally take it, we can legally possess it, and we're not going to have to worry about violating any laws.
Gotcha.
But I want to know, are there pesticides? Are there herbicides? Is there mold, mildew, fungus? Are there heavy metals?
There we go. Now we're getting to it, Julius. Now we're making sure that we're not just, eating rat poison.
Yeah, well, for two reasons. One, I want to be sure that our end products are clean, but cost a lot of money to get the equipment to extract this stuff. I don't want to foul up all my equipment with
that's a good point too.
And with mercury or whatever is in the soil, because it is a leaching plant. It will take in these things from the soil. That's just the nature of cannabis.
Okay.
So you've got to, the farmer really has to be on top of their soil. But we send it off. We have it tested. Once we know everything is good, that's when we can begin the process. And there's a few different techniques on how to actually get the oils out of the plant, but we use cold ethanol. So we use food-grade ethanol at a certain very low temperature, and so that can not only get all of the basically we call them terpenes, but
Okay.
the essential oils is
Yeah.
it was probably more relatable. All the stuff that plant has to offer, whether it be cannabinoids or terpenes, flavors, aromas. I want to pull all of that out into the oil, right? But I want to leave behind the chlorophyll, what gives it its color.
Mm-hmm.
It's not good. We get plenty of chlorophyll in our diet.
Sure.
You don't need it in this type of supplement.
Okay.
It's just going to make it taste bad.
Right. Right.
And but also the plants, like the waxes and the fats, the backbone of the plant. We don't really need that. We just really want those cannabinoids and those flavors, those aromas, because it's showing they all play a role, right? And so once we pull that out with the cold ethanol, I can then remove the ethanol, right? Basically boil it off, but I recapture it and I can reuse. So I've actually got it's the green process.
Yeah.
I don't have any large chemical wastes. I don't have a hazmat truck backing up to my place every 2 days. I'm not billowing toxic gases into the atmosphere or anything like that, which when you get into butane is a solvent, right? I don't want to put anything in my body that was. We don't even use methylene chloride to decaffeinate coffee anymore, but we're going to use butane to make medicine.
I don't even know what you just said.
Yeah.
You said methyl something, man. I just rolled off.
Chloride. Sorry, it's a common solvent. It used to be the way they decaffeinated coffee, but it's toxic. And so many, many, many years ago, they switched to a CO2, carbon dioxide method.
Okay.
But yeah, so that's like a chemistry gem. Like if you don't know that, that's like that. You get into the chemistry club, you got to answer that question. How do we used to decaffeinate coffee?
I would not be in the club.
Yeah.
I was like, well, see you guys. I'll be at the bar.
Yeah, but that's when we use cold ethanol.
Cold ethanol.
Pull it off. I can actually boil it off, recapture it, use it again. But then I'm left with what what the industry calls a full spectrum oil, which short form, a lot of people are like, wait, I see all these spectrum stuff all over the internet.
Yeah.
Right. So full spectrum basically means everything, all the good that plant has to offer. Right. Whatever that hemp plant had, I want to pull it out and I want to keep it together. Right. And that's why better together is one of our things. We believe, and the evidence is showing, even in the preliminary scientific literature, that keeping all of these components together, they have like this synergistic effect, and it's just, they're greater than the sum. They all, it's more effective, and it's more potent. Once you start cherry picking things out, like, I only want THC.
Yeah.
Like they do out west.
Right. Sure.
Or I only want this component. I only want the aroma. Right. It's still great. Still a great component, but keeping it together, is we believe it's the way to go.
Did you bring some products?
I did. I brought just a few here.
Some props.
Yeah.
So as you're opening it up, again, I'm a novice. I have no idea. I've never seen the process before. So just being, ignorant. When it comes to you from the farmer, and then is it a stalk? Is it that's coming to you, or is it stripped in like little strings of something, or is it already oil?
When the first shipment came,
yeah,
I got that feeling in my stomach. Like you open up the bag.
This is weed.
It looks how you think it looks because it's cannabis.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
No, dude, I had no idea. It could have been like a piece of corn stalk for all I know.
Right. No,
so it looks like marijuana.
The flower, as they call it, the bud.
The bud.
Right. That's where most of these components are expressed the most. So that's where they are. So yeah, when it comes in, it looks like how you think it would.
It looks like
just like it
marijuana.
Does on
Okay. No, it's good to know.
Right.
Because maybe some people at home were thinking the same thing I was, or maybe they knew.
It's not that it's that the beneficial ingredients are throughout the entire plant, right? It's just a matter of in what concentration, where are they?
Does it smell like weed when you open up the product? It does. Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. All right. Yep. Your parents are right. You're going to jail.
I guess so. No, I've got all the test results.
We're here. We're good.
I'm ready. Yeah. But but from that point, once we have the oil, we actually send that off and have it tested again.
Okay.
Right, because we want to know. Same thing. I want to be sure that I didn't contaminate it. Right. That my equipment didn't contaminate it. You could.
Is it a sterile environment that you have to work in to do this?
It's as sterile as you can make
clean.
It. It's sterile is relative. You could have a nice clean room to do it in, or you can have a $200,000 clean room, official class rated this and that.
Right.
You're not going to find that in a lot of places.
But you guys aren't wearing,
especially in a startup. So.
Gloves, mask, gown, covered head to toe, like a hazmat uniform.
Definitely don't wear hazmat. Yeah, I don't look like the Chernobyl guys or anything. No, but definitely wearing my PPE, my personal protective equipment. Yeah, lab coat, goggles, closed-toed shoes. That's
gotcha.
the everyday dress for a chemist.
Awesome.
So long pants. So. We send that off. We have it tested. Again, be sure that it's nice and clean, and also that we know how many active cannabinoids are in there.
Okay.
Right, and from there we can actually formulate our end products. And I did bring a few of them here.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
What's in the box?
So this
Let's
right
see.
here, and
Yep.
last I checked, that is probably our most popular product.
Hemp extract tincture?
Yes, so that is
Okay.
a tincture. So that is designed to be taken under the tongue,
Okay.
sublingually.
Sublingually?
Yeah.
All
So
right.
yeah, it's got a dropper on it. Yeah, and you put the drops. You can control your dose with the dropper. Come by the store. I'll be willing to explain it ad nauseum.
Sure.
As far because everything, even the dosage, right? Because the 750 you see there.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Right,
750
I'm
milligrams.
so used to. I grew up with ibuprofen, Tylenol.
That's right.
Right. You go to Walgreens. You buy the ibuprofen.
Yeah.
It's 200 milligrams.
Mhm.
Every capsule is 200 milligrams. Right, and that's kind of been ingrained into us now
Absolutely.
by the pharmaceutical industry. Right, so that number, regardless of what number it is or what shop you buy from, right, that's how many of the cannabinoids are in that entire bottle.
Okay. That
Right,
makes
so
sense.
yeah, if you look at the side, we put on there how much is one full dropper.
1 ml, one full dropper. Looks like it's going to be 25 milligrams.
Right, so and we put we've got the little graduations on the,
Mm-hmm.
0.25 mil, 0.5 mil, 0.75, and 1 mil on the dropper.
Yep.
So I think, okay, if I take one dropper, that's your exact dose. That's what you're taking in that go.
Gotcha.
Right, but you can control it accordingly. We usually say for people, like if you come in and you said, hey, look, I'm an insomniac.
Yeah.
I can't sleep. It's starting to affect my,
Mm-hmm.
everything else.
Right.
It's like, okay, we would recommend a product similar to this.
Okay.
And we would say, of course, based on your employ, of
Yeah,
course,
yeah,
those
sure.
are conversations we would definitely have beforehand.
Right.
You're like, no, I'm self-employed. It's not a problem. Then say, okay.
So
we
what makes
recommend
this your number one seller or your most popular?
It's number two.
Yeah.
I can't explain it.
Okay.
Right.
Fair.
But, you can control. We typically say about a quarter to a half milliliter.
Okay.
Wherever you're comfortable, you just want to be sure to take it regularly.
Yeah.
Right? This is more of what you would.
Yeah. This
consider
says
a
once to
supplement.
twice a day.
Once or twice.
So
a
if
day,
someone
right.
came in like I have, chronic back pain.
Mm-hmm.
This is something that you would maybe lean them in this direction, or is there a
Absolutely.
different product
Right,
that you
well,
lean them in?
we say I see two basic approaches, at least in our store. Right, you've got like the vaping and the smoking and like the candies and stuff. You're not going to find that with us. We don't have those products.
Gotcha.
We basically focus on two ways. One being internal, which is what we just talked about. You take
Yep.
the drops and you get it into your system.
Okay.
Two would be external.
Oh.
Right, and so that brings us to number two.
Number two.
I actually can't explain it. I don't mean to say I can't explain it, but it's just been a shock, honestly.
Okay.
Right, so this is actually our muscle menthol topical.
Muscle menthol topical hemp extract cream.
Right.
300 milligrams.
Right, and that's in a 4-ounce jar. Yeah, we have a 300 and a 600.
So let me ask you this before we keep going. So how much does a bottle like this run if I walked into the shop? and asked?
I'm not going to get the prices right. My wife's going to kill me. The 750.
Yep.
Full spectrum is $79.
$79. Okay. And this
we have a
could
250 that is, I think, $39.
okay. And a bottle like this would last someone.
It depends on the dose.
On the dose,
right?
okay.
But that's the thing. If you're taking a full dropper a day, that's a month's supply.
A month supply. Okay, so you get
And that's a full dropper. It's
That's a
pretty
lot.
intense.
Pretty intense.
Especially of this concentration. I wouldn't say intense, but it's on the higher end. We recommend about a quarter to a half to start off with.
So if someone took a full dropper full, like I wasn't paying attention, I took a full dropper full, would I feel something? No, I
You
wouldn't.
can drink the whole bottle. You can drink a 5-gallon bucket.
Isn't that crazy? But you think like
You'll get sick from the having physical oil on your stomach before
Right.
you get any,
hallucinogenic or
And then
psychoactive.
I think some guy with Rolling Stone a few years ago did something where he's like, I'm going to and it was
it's a really good idea.
it was not a fun read, but because it he got a little out of control at the end.
Oh.
And a little childish.
Right.
But it may not have been Rolling Stone, but it was a magazine article. And he was just like pouring it on his food, and it was just like he just went to sleep.
Gotcha.
He eventually went
Which
to
is really
sleep.
what happens
His
with people when they're
stomach
stoned
hurt.
anyway.
Yeah, his stomach hurt because he'd put so much of this stuff in it.
Right.
I mean, you drink, you drink a glass of cooking oil, you're going to get the same. Right. Yeah, it's just oil. Right. But
It's not a good idea.
right.
Okay, so the muscle menthol. This is another big seller of yours.
Yes, yes.
So this is a cream, I guess.
Yes, it's the cream. Yeah, you can open it up if you
Okay.
want. It's uh, you
You
can
can
tell.
smell the menthol.
Yeah, you can tell from the name. We designed it for like muscle relief.
Yeah.
Tight muscles, muscle tension, or maybe cramping or post workout. That type of
Sure.
thing. Something. Of course, with the menthol, BioFreeze is always that's the one everybody knows.
Oh, dude, I
right?
got 2 tubes of it right now in my house. I had a herniated disc,
Oh no.
and man, if I knew, I would try some of that.
We
But
need to talk. Yeah.
yeah, well, I can't do that because I don't know.
Well, that's the difference, right? So we say there's two approaches, right? You got the
Right.
internal,
Yep.
right? That's going to get into your bloodstream.
Yep.
When you start talking about drug testing,
Yeah.
right? You say, yeah, oh yeah, I'm drug tested on the regular. Okay, this product's not for you.
That product's not for
You
you.
may, of course, it's always going to be your decision.
Sure.
This is your decision.
Absolutely.
It's your body.
Right.
So, right, we do have tinctures that are CBD free. Or sorry, good Lord, we do not have CBD free tinctures, right? That's the one, right? Yeah,
That's
we
the
don't
one.
have them.
We don't.
Right, THC free.
THC
right?
free, and this is a TH free one right here.
Right. So that only has the CBD.
Okay.
Right. So that's actually clear, colorless, odorless, tasteless. Right. Where the full spectrum, it's clearly an oil. It looks like a cooking oil. It's golden, amber. It has an aroma. And that does not childproof.
Yeah, I wasn't going to open it.
Yeah, but this, so this, if THC is your aversion, some people morally don't want to take it. I don't want THC.
Right.
I mean, that's how they live their life.
I guess I was trying to say earlier, like you can get CBD oil that has 0 THC in it, and that's what you have right there.
Yeah, that's exactly it right there.
And there's nothing like people's bodies is not going to convert that into THC once they ingest it.
As I still have to be careful.
Sure.
Nothing's 100%.
Okay.
Nothing's ever 100%. And so that's the thing. You start talking about, well, what type of test does that particular lab use?
Right.
That they send your sample off to.
Sure.
Are they doing it on the spot? Are they using something from Dollar General? Are they doing a hair test? Are they doing a blood test? There's so many factors that's why we always err on the side of caution. If you're not comfortable, don't do it.
Yeah, of course. Sure.
I mean, that case closed, so, but, and so it's a lot of times you start reading into it and it's like, they're not actually like the urine tests and things like that aren't actually testing for THC, right? Your body metabolizes THC in smaller compounds.
Yeah.
They're testing for those compounds. So, how sensitive that is and what is CBD broken down into versus THC? It starts getting highly technical and it's...
So here's a highly technical question.
Oh, no.
Not really. But let's say that you were someone who was a marijuana smoker. I don't know, frequent, infrequent, or whatever, but THC was in the system, floating around. And then you took CBD oil. Does it attach to the THC, or does the THC attach to the CBD?
No. They're going to work. They're teammates.
Okay.
So they're not really. They grow on the same plant. They're on the same team.
Okay.
So their behavior is on the surface you could say similar.
Okay.
Chemically speaking, it's roughly similar.
Okay.
They're not radically. One's going to kill you and one's going to make you live forever.
Right.
It's not that. But what I have read is that taking increased amounts of CBD for like what you would call a recreational pot smoker can somewhat kind of depress the high.
Oh, okay.
That's
weird.
I've read this. Yeah, I don't know what, you can read anything,
Sure.
But I mean, that's
Listen,
what
the interweb said it so.
Yeah, but as far as like one canceling out the other or something like that, it's not really. It's again, a lot of this is anecdotal in my opinion. But CBD has been shown to be great for like inflammation and like anxiety, nervous system related issues, brain, and they're looking at it for traumatic brain injury, PTSD, these types of things. Where THC it's really found its home in pain relief. It seems to be the key cog, and when you start looking at a lot of the pain relief, muscle relief, and it's when you put them together, it's like they're.
So the CBD with the THC helps with the pain relief.
I believe so. Yeah, okay. I mean, and even at the amount that the government decided at 0.3%, we're seeing these effects. Where someone could take a product like this, that has no THC in it.
Yeah.
And they're like, hey, I'm sleeping so much better, but my body still aches. And they could switch to a product that's the full spectrum that even has that trace amount. They're not getting high,
Right.
not getting a buzz, but you can start to put a dent in some of that pain and make it more manageable. And that's, to me, that's,
Isn't that wild?
I take what I read and I try to see how it's going to project, and that's what I see.
And what are you seeing with traumatic brain injuries, or what are you reading, or PTSD?
It's all very preliminary.
Okay.
It's to the point where they're just saying we think this may. That's a common phrase. So as far as anything concrete, it's not really there. But I mean, if it can stop a seizure dead in its tracks,
right?
There's something there.
Sure.
There's something's happening that's worth investigating. And yeah.
One of the interesting things too. Well, I want to say this, and we'll get back to a few more of your products you got there. But let's say that they would. How do they regulate if they were just to legalize marijuana? Period. If they're like, okay, look, everyone, alcohol level is 0.07. You blow above that, you go to jail. You get a DWI. How would they regulate marijuana blood level? To say that someone. I think that would be very tricky.
Yeah, if I knew that, I'd be in Washington.
Beating
on somebody's door.
You may know somebody in Washington. But it's interesting, right? Because marijuana can hang around someone's system for roughly 30 days. And I think, depending on the use, I think the longest ever recorded is like 77 days someone inhaled,
right.
And then later on. But most of the time not. It doesn't hang around that long. But
everybody's body's different.
Everybody's different, right? So if they made, let's just say, pick a number, right? 0.03, in their bloodstream. But someone smoked a joint or did whatever 4 days ago, but their body doesn't metabolize like whoever their test subjects were, who they came up with.
Is that law fair to them?
Is that law fair to them?
Right.
Or you got some person who's maybe bigger, has more body mass, fat, and they can smoke a whole bunch, and their levels are lower.
Yeah.
But I guess it's the same with metabolizing alcohol and someone's age, size, and how often they drink.
I even think it goes further because it's going to take a radical shift. In I think in law enforcement, not just men and women in blue, but crime labs behind the scenes and the techniques they use and instruments they use. They're on a yes or no system right now. Is this marijuana? Right. So it's in the same thing in the workplace. It's like two people, we had random drug tests today in the office. 2 people got fired. Well, yeah, one we know because he's around back every day. You know what I mean? But but the lady with rheumatoid arthritis because she was taking this.
Yeah.
Is that fair?
Right.
It's yes or no. Some companies have taken that a step further. They've taken that onus to say, okay, we actually want to see the content, and we can kind of see it's But most of the time, for us in our jobs, it's yes or no.
Right.
You either did or you didn't.
I was working with a customer, a junk customer, and she has, I think it's stage 4 cancer. And this is like the 3rd time it's come back. And she goes to the pain clinic, and she basically has a Percocet once a day. And she was telling the doctor that she's, the pain's getting worse. What can I do? And she was like, somebody mentioned the CBD oil. And, they told her, if you come back and you test positive marijuana, you're out of the system.
Absolutely.
And then
we have people from the pain clinic come in.
So she, asked another, maybe it was the next trip or whatnot, come in, and they said, honey, if it's going to make you feel better and help you with the pain, because she has cancer in a very sensitive area, which I'm sure is painful. They're like, do it. If it helps you. I mean, this lady's, she's not 35. I mean, she's someone's great grandma. Yeah. Come on, man. Like, if it's going to help this lady,
right?
Like, who is she hurting?
Why does she have to feel bad for trying something natural?
Sure.
You know what I mean? This isn't.
But
this
something
isn't
like the
chemo. You know what I mean? This is a plant that we've had since we've known plants.
And would muscle menthol help her? Or
absolutely, with like pain and like arthritis. We did it for muscles. The feedback we've gotten on people with arthritis has been jaw dropping.
Really?
The relief that they're getting, especially in hands and knees, elbows, any joints. Arthritis is inflammation in the joints.
Sure.
And this can attack and relieve that inflammation. I mean, we're seeing swelling going down. We're seeing dexterity improved. And when somebody comes back in, they said, I've lived in copper fit bracelets, and I cooked and did the dishes last night, and I didn't wear my copper fit. That's your life back. You know, somebody may think that's so trivial, but that's
sure
makes you feel like.
Do you think there's a
human,
little bit of a placebo effect for some people?
If it is, I hope it works for them. You know,
Right.
I mean, it's. I think you're going to find that with anything.
Right. Even the copper fit bracelets.
Yeah. I mean, even the copper
that I'm guilty of wearing.
Yeah.
Not
But,
recently.
I mean, it's brain chemistry is a mysterious thing. You know, so a lot of the times the drugs you need, your brain can produce it. You know,
That's
it's just
true.
a matter of, you know, turn that frown upside down. You know, I mean, it's
That's
things
right.
we've heard, you know, that
But it's true.
the more, you know, you learn about like, you know, things like this and, you know, how the body works, how the mind works, you know, and it's, I was never told we had an endocannabinoid system. Although we got digestive, nervous, and
All right, back up a
endocrine
second.
system.
Endocannabinoid?
Endocannabinoid.
What is that?
It was discovered in the 90s. And so it's actually a system in the mammalian body. We have it, our dogs have it, our cats have it, mammals, all mammals have it. And it's mainly what's really being looked at now are the CB and CB2 receptors that basically these guys are built for. We have built-in receptors that have been waiting our whole lives for these. And yeah.
I mean, it's wow.
And like, yeah, that was me several years ago.
What?
Why did I have to dig so hard to learn this? You know, like this should be.
Wow.
Why is this not being blasted to the television?
That's
Why is
a
this
good
not?
question.
You know, like we have this
Yeah.
system and we've starved it. You know, and thanks to the state of North Carolina, we can take it.
Damn.
You know, and we're seeing people that are getting relief. You know, and they're pain eating so bad and they're sleeping better and they're not destroying their livers and you know, and they're not wrecking their kidneys, pumping these pharmaceuticals with crazy side effects.
Right. Yeah.
May cause, you know, people say, "What's the worst thing that could happen?" I'm like, "Well, you get a tummy ache because it's oil, or nothing,
or
it
does right,
or nothing." What happened? I took it into anything. Oh, this is the worst case scenario.
Right.
You know, that's great.
That,
you know, I mean,
yeah.
that's a. I wish all pharmaceuticals were that way. Worst that could happen is nothing.
Yeah.
No, worst that could happen, you nightmares and you know suicidal thoughts and all this crazy things that they say.
Pain
You know,
medication, narcotics are a wicked thing, man.
and the dependency that follows
Huge.
along with that, and then, you know, and this is finding
You
know
will-
a great place in getting people off the opioids.
I think you will, and that's something that we need. I mean, we're fighting a huge opioid epidemic in this
Absolutely.
epidemic in this country. You know, I think 60,000 a year now are dying of opioid overdose,
I mean,
which is a
especially
problem.
Veterans that are coming back and they're just getting these pills thrown at them, and you know, it's,
Well, that's
you
that's
know, I
what we
mean,
do.
it's they're like that's how they're treating it. I'm like, dude, can we try something else? You know, can't we try something else? And you know, it's like my father. You know, he's had his aorta replaced, his aortic valve replaced twice. You know, and it's hard. You know, I
Sure,
mean,
yeah.
it's very hard. And so, if there's anything that when the you know, when you look at when I see the medications that he has to take, you know, and you look at the side effects, you know, and then I look at something like this, you know, it's I want the doctors to get on board, but I completely, wholeheartedly understand their reserve.
Yeah,
You know,
sure.
because it always goes back, you know, that this is not a regulated industry.
Right.
You know, your physician does not want you to go into some random shop, like you said. Don't buy it getting your nails done. Be sure you know
Right.
where you're getting it from. You know, and that's our mission. You know, is to let you know where it comes from. You know, and we have, like I was explaining, all these tests that we have done. We put those on our website. Every product we have, right there, you can scan that QR code, or you can actually see right under there we have the lot number.
Yep.
Right, you can go to our website. You can see how this tested. Not only is it actually 750, but it's clean, right? You know, and we don't bottle anything, we don't label anything until we have that paperwork in hand.
Okay.
You know, we'll mix it up, you know, and we'll get it exactly how we want, whether it be a cream or a tincture. We take a sample and we seal it. You know, and it sits quarantined till we get that paperwork back.
Okay.
You know, and then everything's good. Okay, now we got to bottle it. Now we got to print some labels.
So do you guys do that in house too?
We do everything.
Oh wow.
We do it all. Yeah, from bringing in the plants to bringing out the oil, to actually mixing it into these products, to getting it into these containers, to designing and printing these labels. Yeah, it's,
You do it all.
It's wild. Yeah.
So now he says, who is Dove Medical?
Dove Medical, that is our partner. That's
Okay.
that's who that's her company. So
Are they local around North Carolina,
yes,
or are they?
yeah, in Summerfield.
Summerfield.
Yeah. Yeah, up north of Greensboro.
Yeah. Okay.
So, yep, and she's actually doing all the growing.
Oh, really?
Yeah, yeah. So, that's it. We don't. They're not. That's not. Those aren't our fields or anything, you know. But we're just glad we have a place we can trust the source.
Right.
I can drive up there and I can walk the fields. I can see the greenhouses. You know, I mean,
That's cool.
I know the lives of these plants. I know the guys that take care of them. You know, it's, you know, it.
Well, that's a big
I
difference.
feel comfortable taking it.
Well, and I think people, as they get to know you, maybe people who are listening here to the show, they're going to, if they're on the fence about buying it, or maybe they're buying it from somewhere and they're not sure. But I think it's important, you know, to know what you're buying,
Absolutely,
who you're buying it from, where did they get it, and if you're buying, and if you're doing this from a local North Carolina farmer, from a true, you know, regulated industry, it's different. You know, I mean, think about how guys it's interesting how like CBD oil, hemp is starting to come forward. I don't want to say mainstream, but it's becoming more accepted. It's kind of reminded me with the surge of like hormone replacement therapy for men. You know, you used to see these guys at the gym and they would be taking testosterone, right? Well, they're juice heads or roid heads or this, they're that, right? And there was a stigma to that. You know, well, they're bodybuilders or this, they're that. But now we've seen a kind of a shift where almost there's a lot of guys out there who are over 40, over 45, and in their 50s and 60s who are on some sort of hormone replacement therapy. And is there some vanity to that? Yes, but guess what? It's also helping their heart. It's also helping their libido. It's helping decrease risk of heart attack, obesity, diabetes, depression. So it's a thing that we need in our body. And so when we're depleted or deprived of that testosterone, you know, bad things happen. So it's interesting that
throws off our
everything.
our chemistry.
It throws off our chemistry. So it's interesting how you see like CBD and hemp's kind of moving forward, and the stigma's falling off. But you can also see the stigma falling off of the guy who's 55 years old but is in good shape.
Yeah.
And it's like, you know, and other guys are like, how's he doing that? You know, and they go talk to their doctor, and they, you know, now it's okay. But the best part about that is
a cartoon character.
Yeah, it's not this overgrown, you know, he's not the Incredible Hulk. He's not, you know, Arnold Schwarzenegger back in the day.
Right.
But they are getting it from a doctor. They're getting it from a lab, as opposed to the guy who's selling it to you at the back of the gym out of his gym bag, who was, you know, cutting it with Crisco in his bathtub.
Right.
You know? Yeah. Not saying that's really how that happened, but probably.
I'm sure you're not far off.
Vegetable oil or some sort. You know, people are getting these big abscesses on their, you know, thighs and butt. But my point of that is how the stigma is starting to fall off of these things, and people are truly getting benefits. But it's like anything else. People can abuse whatever they want to abuse, right? If someone gets a prescription for, you know, testosterone because they have low T, they could abuse the Cypionate or whatever the doctor's going to give them to see benefits. It's more of a aesthetic look for them as opposed to internal and all the benefits. But this is different because, in a way, well, like you said before, if they drink all of this and they think they're going to get high, really they're just going to get a stomachache from all the oil. Yeah. Right? There's not going to be this high effect.
Stuff doesn't make your stomach hurt. I don't want to.
Well, no. If I drank a 5-gallon bucket of your stuff, I would probably get a stomachache.
Well, like you can even go online and like there's several websites and stuff like that for people that smoke it. It's still 0. It's legal. You know, I mean, you don't have to drive too far to buy. Go to a store. You can buy the flowers. You can't buy them in our store. Right. But they're there. Okay. People buy it and they smoke it. Really? You know, and they gives them instant relief. You know,
well, it's just faster. It gets in the body quicker. Yeah. You know, through the lungs as opposed to letting it dissolve under the tongue.
Yeah, but they're not getting high.
Right.
You know, they're like, it's calming. It's relaxing to them. You know, and maybe they have some tension or something and it relieve that, you know, lower that anxiety. So,
what are some of the other products you have there?
I don't know if I finished them.
You may not have.
I say this stuff all day, every day. So
I get it, man.
I repeat myself.
You're okay.
Now, even between my wife and I wasn't fully on board. Like topicals. Yes. Right. Will not go into your bloodstream. Did I talk about that?
We touched on it, but I probably steered the car off the road and went somewhere else.
Or I probably did. But when I first heard that, you know, I'm like, so I can rub something in. You're going to tell me it's going to have like a therapeutic effect, but it's not getting in my bloodstream.
Right.
You know?
Sure.
And then I actually found the where my wife actually found the scientific studies that show, and even done with cannabinoids, that that applying topically, it can't pierce into that vein or that blood vessel. You need a specific chemistry, like you'd find in like a transdermal patch,
Right.
like a Nicoderm.
If that's what I was going to say. Now there are transdermal patches there are things that seep into the system.
Those are designed to carry it into your blood system,
Gotcha.
right, into your bloodstream.
Okay.
Right, where a typical topical or cream or salve or something like that is not.
Right.
So even like the situations where my dad, I don't feel comfortable giving my dad this just because we don't know all the side effects of maybe possible drug interactions.
Sure.
That's something I still would rather. I want to see more studies.
Right.
He can use this immediately, right? Because it's not going to affect his blood. It's not even going to come in contact with
I think I want to stop it there because I think you said something as a business owner and as a chemist, but you just said you want to see more stuff. I feel like if you were pushing the product on people, you wouldn't say that.
Right.
So I think it's important for the listeners and everyone else to pick up on what you said, because I think that's important.
Thank you. And it's by design. I want this to be a long-term thing.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, probably a lot of my peers, are probably watching thinking this guy's a stone cold idiot. You know how much money there is. Because it's everywhere. It's in coffee. It's in chocolate. It's in this. It's in that. It's everywhere. It's in clothes now.
That's right.
So I don't know if I even want to look into that one yet. I'm not ready for that yet. Clothes, CBD clothes, right? Hemp clothes, I get. But, we'll see. We'll see where that takes us. But I'd rather you trust me,
right,
than buy from me. Because I think if you do trust me and it is something that's right for you, then hopefully you would feel comfortable taking this.
Mm-hmm.
And if not, I would rather you be safe. Safe rather than sorry. I would rather turn you away and have you talk to your doctor than you have some type of adverse reaction, or heaven forbid lose your job.
Right.
And people say, "Oh, well, I've even been to a doctor, and a doctor gave me like an official recommendation." Well, does your boss know?
Right.
We're in Troutman, man.
That's
right. It takes one.
That's right.
One, and we're done.
That's true.
Done before the week's up.
That's right.
And so we
gotta be careful.
Afford really, but it's not. We don't operate that way out of fear. It's we want to try to give people that are struggling.
Yep.
Right. That this treatment hasn't worked. This treatment hasn't worked. And they're staring down the barrel of a Lord knows how many $1,000 experimental whatever.
Sure.
Shot.
Right.
You know what I mean? Be safe.
Mm-hmm.
Know what you're doing. And people come in and they talk, they ask questions, and we talk with them and they leave.
Yeah.
And they don't buy anything. But they knew more than when they came in.
Sure.
And maybe they think about it differently. Maybe next time when they go and do an internet search, on this type of stuff, yeah, I remember that. And they can get that validation. And they say, "Oh yeah, I know that this isn't true.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen it with my own eyes. This isn't true." To have that, give you the tools, to give you the knowledge to navigate this market. And know what's going to work for you. Know what you want to do, and feel safe doing it.
Right.
So I'm not worried about if you're going to get scammed. Don't go to Amazon. You will not find us on Amazon because Amazon will not sell CBD products.
Okay.
But go on Amazon and type in CBD. You're going to have a long list.
Yeah.
So what's going on there? Right?
What's going on, Amazon?
Well, a lot of it, we suspect, is it's just hemp seed oil. Same stuff they've had at Food Line for 30, 40 years. So there's no cannabinoids in it. There's no active. It's just they press the seeds just like they would make.
But the layperson doesn't know that.
Right. So they take that, they put it in a bottle like this.
Right.
And now it looks like this.
Mm-hmm.
And they call it hemp oil, not hemp seed oil. $80. Right? And then you go and you bump into somebody. "Oh, I own the CBD store in Troutman. Oh, I ordered a bottle off Amazon. It did nothing. All that's a sham." Not all of it's a sham.
Right.
A good chunk of it is.
Right.
Sorry. How do you say that?
Yeah.
I got you.
You can actually. I think you said it just like that.
All right. And then run.
No, they got you.
Yeah. Then
right.
run to my car. Gotcha. Right. But
man, I hope you're in the Troutman food line and that happens, and I'm there to see it.
I'm there all the time. Yeah, but we're trying to build a place that's safe that people can trust. Trying to be as active as we can in the community. It's for some outsiders, we've been here for several years now, but for some outsiders, we didn't know how Troutman was going to accept.
Sure.
We didn't know if we were going to be able to do business in Troutman. That was obviously our first choice. That's where we live. It was like, we might have to go to Statesville for this one, or we might have to go country, county.
Right. That's right.
We may have to find a place off in the boonies, because we want to process. We don't just want to have a retail shop.
Right.
And it couldn't have been more welcoming.
Hey, good for Troutman.
We went and sat down with the town before we did anything, before we signed a lease.
Yeah.
And they said, give us a day.
Right.
Let us, let us do our homework.
Right.
And we showed them the state programs and everything. They looked on everything on our end. They said, we'd love to have you. And it's been great. They've been absolutely phenomenal to us down at Town Hall. So I've got nothing but great things to say.
Well, they can keep an eye on you too. You're just down the road from the police department.
Oh yeah.
So
that was another thing. Like you said, does it smell like? Well, they got a dog.
Oh, they got dogs.
Yeah. But apparently, I don't know if it was in jest, but I was told that they did drive down and they knew we were there. Nothing malicious, but they were like, let's see if the dog hits. It's pulling their parking lot. Sure. Because we process.
Right.
We don't have little baggies.
Right.
We do have alarm systems and all of that. So cameras.
By the way,
you're not going to get insurance without cameras ever. But yeah, they said, oh yeah, I think you're fine.
So did the dogs hit on it?
No.
Really?
I was in the parking lot. I don't even know if that really happened. I think somebody just.
I think it's a good story.
Messing with me. Yeah.
So I want to go back. You said you have your dad taking the ointment or the cream.
Yeah,
right?
Like just a topical because it's not gonna. He doesn't have to worry about any drug interactions. He doesn't have to worry about, blood sugar spiking.
It's like putting the biofreeze on him.
Exactly. Yeah, and that's same thing. My wife. We've got a little 10-month-old girl.
Oh, congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. But we don't know. And that's something that is a little bit personal to us, and I guess maybe that's why it made its way to the package. But if you're pregnant or nursing, consult your doctor.
Sure.
We put that on the package because that really hit home for us.
Mm-hmm.
And the studies aren't there.
Right.
So it's like we don't feel comfortable.
Sure.
So she hasn't done any of this, right? But she can do these. She can do the creams. When SI joint. She's had. Get a big girl. Our little girl, she was full term.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so, when the back starts hurting, the shoulders start hurting.
Sure.
Even we've been a little bit surprised. She's like, she got a phone call. Her neck just seized up.
Yeah.
She came out of, all right, give it to me. I put it on. 15, 20 minutes later, she came back out. You got to do the, sorry. You're fine. You got to do the other side now. I didn't even realize it was tight. But this one released, and now I can feel the tightness.
That's great.
So it's, we couldn't be more happy with what we've been able to do so far. People have been able to help. We just got to try and get the word out more. Yeah. Let people know where we are.
Speaking of, do you want to tell people where you're located, your website?
Yeah, we are in downtown Troutman. We are right by the depot. I can see Randy's, right by the Mad Monkey Garage. We're actually located at 155 Southeast Way in Troutman. But I think it's right there by the depot. To keep my car out of the parking lot, I park at the depot, the old depot, the pavilion there.
Okay.
Yeah, so we're right there.
Okay.
Stop by. We're 9 to 5 every day. Tuesdays and Thursdays we do stay open till 7, just in case try to accommodate some people that maybe don't get off till.
Sure.
And Saturday 10 to 4.
And do you guys have a website?
We do. That's if you want to learn more about us. Specifically, we do have PurityLabs.com.
Mm-hmm.
Just gives a little bit more info about who we are as a business. And then we do have PurityHemp.com.
PurityHemp.com.
Which is, of course, the two are linked. If you find one, you can find both. But
sure.
That's where you'll find our products.
Okay.
You can get more information on our products. Got a little web store on there, so... but at bare minimum, you can at least figure out a way how to contact us. And again, we try to put a lot of information on there as well. All of our test results are on the website.
Mm-hmm.
Every one that we run, we put it out there for any product that we put out on the shelf. But also, we try to find these studies and at least try to start to build a little library, you know, and the different
peer-reviewed section on the website for people to dive into.
We're not doing the review, but we try to find legitimate studies, not just anecdotal stuff. Which that's what we kind of have to rely on, when we're talking to people. We can't always cite some studies. Things quickly lose the crowd, right? But
right.
We try to compile those and show what is the science showing with CBD and anxiety. And
Sure.
if you go to our website and you see one of those, hey, that might be me. Dive in. See what we got. It's not it's always growing. We're trying to build it, like I said, 6 weeks. So
Right.
so if you're not impressed with what you find, just give us a little bit more time. And we can get it together. We're just gonna wait on all of these studies to come out. So a little bit of wait and see.
Well, good for you, man, and good for Troutman, and thank you guys for taking a chance and jumping over here to this off on the safe side onto the uncharted territory. Taking a leap of faith in a way.
Yeah.
And hopefully things will continue to grow for you guys in Purity Labs and continue to help people. And hopefully they'll be able to find you guys in Troutman. And you said you're located again, as a reminder, on 155 South Eastway Drive. And you can look them up too at www.puritylabs.com. And I'll put all this on the YouTube and podcast and details and all that good stuff. So
Purity with an I.
With an I.
Why I was taken.
Figures.
I like it though.
No, it's cool and it's unique too. So hopefully it's going to continue to grow for you guys, and the hemp industry is going to continue to grow, and especially if it's helping people. And hopefully some more science will get behind it and help validate what's happening already.
Absolutely, and that's the thing. Yeah, we've got things for people of all ages. The internal. We've got pain relief. That's also got more of like a beauty product.
Is this a beauty product?
No, it's not a true beauty product. It is a skin lotion, and it's been infused with the CBD.
Okay.
So
this
eczema, dermatitis, dry skin. It's more focused. I think my wife she's much more well versed in the homeopathic treatments.
Okay.
So when it comes to the other ingredients, this isn't just CBD and paste.
Gotcha.
And it's she tries to formulate to really make an overall better product to help more specifically target an issue that you may be having.
I gotcha.
And so this is more for like a skin related.
So this would not have the THC in it.
It
or
does.
What? This does have
but
THC.
It's a topical.
It's a
so,
topical.
Yeah, don't put it in a cut.
Right.
Don't rub it down. In a cut.
Sure.
But again,
you wouldn't do that with.
But it's not. Yeah, that's not going to get in your blood.
Wow.
And honestly, I didn't feel comfortable saying that until I saw the scientific literature.
There you go.
That's why I'm able to say that.
Now, what you got there? Is that a jock itch spray?
This one here?
Yeah.
Sure, go for it.
No, I'm kidding.
No, this is actually a roll-on.
Oh, is it deodorant?
No.
Muscle roll-on. Oh, okay, I got you.
So, there's other creams like that bio-free.
I got you.
That make a roll-on. And
yeah.
Honestly, after I do the yard, that's what I grab. I need it on the back.
Right.
I don't want to get it on my hands. I'm already tired.
Right. I'm with you.
I've been doing the yard. It's a lot easier to grab that, give it a shake, rub it down with thighs or something like that. So like for athletes and stuff like that, that's definitely good.
After a workout or
exactly like a post-workout. And that's thinking she's added the dwarf pine oil, which I'd never heard of.
I've never heard of that either.
She's the expert. She can talk all day about that stuff. So I'll leave that to her. But it's just supposed to help get down into those muscles.
Into the muscles, helps penetrate. Okay.
Yeah. And then we also have pet products.
Pet products. Alaskan salmon oil with omega-3 and DHA.
Yes.
So this would help if you had a dog that had seizures or asthma or whatever.
What most people come in for.
Mm-hmm.
We've had several come in hip dysplasia.
Hip dysplasia.
Great Danes.
Yep.
Golden Retrievers. Which it's the inflammation that makes them hurt.
Right.
This attacks inflammation. This reduces inflammation. But not only that, that's the thing. This has the exact same full spectrum oil that we put in our human tinctures. The only difference is what we call the carrier oil. Right, we put this one in grapeseed oil, which we know is good for humans unless you're allergic. These days, somebody's allergic to everything.
Air.
Right. Yeah, but here we use wild Alaskan salmon oil.
So that was a difference that I did notice. I was going to ask you about the two oils.
Right.
And that's just the carrier.
And yeah, we call it a carrier oil. It's what we use to basically dilute it to the strength to make it a repeatable product.
Okay.
But it also, when you want to mix it, it helps with the bio uptake, I guess you could say. The oil itself is thick.
Is it?
Very thick. You don't want to take that.
Okay.
It'll hit your tongue and it's going to be there. Yeah. So,
okay.
it's best to put it in oil. It just makes it a little bit easier for your body.
I got you.
And of course, helps us control the strength. That way we can put things like how much is in one dropper and stuff like that. But so we use like grapeseed, MCT, which is a fractionated coconut oil. So basically, just like a refined coconut oil, boil off the liquid parts, for better or worse.
Right.
Somebody, I'm telling you, I'm going to piss off some chemists on this.
Good.
But yeah, and so that's the thing. It's clear, colorless, almost like a mineral oil.
Okay.
You know, in consistency, I would say. You know, and appearance. Yeah, and then for the pets, there's not a vet on the planet that's not going to tell you to give your cat or dog fish oil. So why would we mess around with this for a pet when we can? And they love it. It's fish oil.
Right.
You know, my dog now, she won't eat her food unless I put these drops on her.
Really?
She'll get excited. I'll pour it. She'll go, and then I get the.
Give me the good stuff.
I go, and then that's when she gets happy.
She's like, "Come on, Jerry,
shake it up.
Give me the good stuff."
Yeah, we got to give it a shake because we don't put any stabilizers or emulsifiers. We don't. It's got 2 ingredients: full extract hemp oil, and full spectrum hemp extract. You would think I would have done this before, right? Yeah, the full spectrum. It's got the oil in it.
It's been a long day, man. You say this 5,000 times a day.
Full spectrum hemp extract.
Yep.
And the fish oil.
Gotcha.
Those are only 2 ingredients. Same thing here. Extract, grapeseed oil. This is just the CBD isolated, so it's only CBD and MCT oil. And that's try to keep it, natural. Try to keep it all natural. But that's I'm out of goodies.
You're out of goodies.
Yeah. We do have more. This is just a little sampling of what we've got.
Yeah, sure.
We've got different concentrations, some different aromas, and some of the THC-free tinctures. We've even got some flavors.
Oh wow, okay.
So it's not completely tasteless.
Right.
Where the full extract or full spectrum hemp extract, it takes on the characteristics of the plant. So it's definitely got an aroma. It's got a taste. It's my mom doesn't like it. Most people have no problem with it. Otherwise, it wouldn't be our best selling product. And but yeah.
But folks can also follow you on Instagram. And is it Purity Labs or?
Oh man, do this. I don't do this.
You don't do that. You don't do.
Yeah, Purity Labs.
But you also have
Purity
a Facebook.
Labs you'll be able to find us anywhere. It's going to be Facebook, Instagram, mainly those 2.
Okay.
We're a small crew.
I get it, man.
It's we're glad to be able to do 2 social medias, but even on there, the reception's been great. That's talking about you. So it's been great. It's really been great. When you start to see people liking things and sharing things that aren't your friends,
right?
Let's keep going. Let's keep going.
That's right. Keep pushing.
I think we may be doing something right. So and it's great to have that friend and family support. We wouldn't be here without it. But it's so good to see. Like, I don't know who that person is.
I know.
We got another like. Oh, we got another like. It's fun.
It is.
Fun.
It's
scary, but it's fun.
It is
starting
scary.
your own business. So, but yeah, I've got no complaints. No complaints at all.
Well, Jerry, again, we appreciate you coming by. Everyone, check out Purity Labs at puritylabs.com. And they're located down in Troutman at 155 South Eastway Drive. And go check them out. And so always support local.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much. We'd love to have anybody. Love to have you stop by.
You got it, man.
And thank you so much for having me on.
Yeah, man. Thanks for saying
I'm incredibly honored. I'm incredibly honored.
Well, we're honored. We appreciate you. Thanks, man.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Hey, everybody. Again, we'll see you again here soon. Thank you to States Vegas Clothing Company for giving me all of my T-shirts this year. Thank you to Hunk of Junk Calling. One call removes it all. Thank you to Kasey.tate at Farm Bureau Insurance and to Dustin McCrary at Dustin McCrary Law. Thanks, guys. We'll see you guys soon. Bye. Wasn't too bad, was it?
Welcome to the Appetite for Discussion show with your hosts, Brendan